Hello friends, good evening everybody. I am Dr. Bhalerao, working in a Jupiter Hospital as a general surgeon. Today we are discussing very common problem in the society, that is management of gallstones and bile duct stones. You know, there is a technological revolution which has happened in last 30-40 years, and if you look at the sea change which has happened in the management of this biliary stone disease in this golden age of imaging, endoscopy, and laparoscopy. If you look at the problem which is existing in the society is pretty high. Almost 10 to 15% population they have a gallstone sometimes during their lifetime, and it does have a lot of impact on a day-to-day life because it affects most of the age groups from adulthood to elderly age group. It nowadays it has been seen that it affects mainly a working group, and it does have a geographical variation. Now, when you are talking about gallstone disease, there are two aspects. One is patients who has got a disease and symptoms, and another aspect is something called as silent stones. And whenever there are stones in the gallbladder, there is always a possibility of simultaneous existence of stone in the bile duct and related problems, which we'll be discussing subsequently. But there are a few predictors of stones in the bile duct when you have sonography available. All these things will be discussed at later slide. Now, if you look at this, how patient comes to a doctor. Nowadays, most of the abdominal problems, if you look at before 90s, all the patients with pain in abdomen used to go to a surgeon. In those days, you did not have, or we did not have any specialists like gastroenterologists or gastrointestinal surgeons. It was general surgeons who are looking after this abdominal pain problem. But as you are progressing towards the 21st century, we are seeing that more and more specialties are coming up, and more patients of a pain in abdomen are going away from surgeons, and they are seen by either general practitioner or physician or super specialist medical gastroenterologist. And what is happening because of this sort of a shift, many times patients do not get what the disease warrants or what is required for the patient's treatment. Many times it is happening like a barber chair phenomena. I mean, if patient goes to physician, the physician offers the modality of a treatment which is available with him. Like if you take an example of gallstone with a bile duct stones, whether patient needs any endoscopic intervention or not, but most of the time these patients always get they receive an endoscopic intervention and then they are referred for a surgical problem. There is nothing wrong in doing this, but many times patient end up by spending more money for two procedures. First time for the endoscopic procedure, and then later on for the surgical removal of a gallbladder, either laparoscopy or open. Now, this definitely results into some problems or complications which can be life-threatening at times, like endoscopic bile duct stone management can give rise to acute pancreatitis, which is called as post-ERCP pancreatitis, and it is quite highly prevalent in the society. Only thing, there is always an under-reporting. Many times patients are not reported in the literature, or there is no auditing in the institution. So the problem is not reaching to the society that this particular procedure is harmful. Now, apart from the patient's complaints like pain in abdomen, nausea, vomiting, jaundice, there are certain laboratory investigations also which are required when one is dealing with gallstones and bile duct stones. Now, specific investigations to localize a problem, the most commonly available modality in every nook and corner of society is transabdominal sonography. Only thing is, it has got a very good detection rate of gallstones and gallbladder pathology, but it has got a poor sensitivity as far as the bile duct stones are concerned. Now, if you ask me one specific investigations before patient goes to operation table is MRCP or MRI. That gives you a lot of information about bile duct, about a pancreatic duct, about gallbladder, about liver and upper abdomen, and which is not very expensive investigation. Believe me, I think it will solve a lot of problems for the patients when they go for a surgical treatment of a gallstone disease. It just costs around, say, it cost varies from 3,000 rupees to about 7,000 rupees depending on the places. Now, other modalities which are sometimes used in a difficult situations like endosonography, ERCP, but nowadays, if you ask me, ERCP has got a very little role as far as the diagnosis is concerned. For the CBD stones. Now, if you, I think we'll directly go to the management part or a treatment part of this biliary stone disease. Now, there are two aspects. One is gallbladder stones, and second thing is bile duct stones. They can be associated simultaneously, or sometimes patients do come with a history of cholecystectomy and bile duct stones which are detected later on. They can be a missed stones, or very rarely you can get a new stone formation in the bile duct. Primarily, most of the bile duct stones, they originate in the gallbladder and they move down into the bile duct and causing various problems, which we will be discussing later on. Now, if you look at the major management headings, is a surgery for a gallstone disease and removal of a bile duct stones. Now, problem is here. Now, there are traditional methods of treating these biliary stones, like a open surgery. It can be done at one go. You can have an open surgical removal of a gallbladder stone at the same sitting, provided surgeon has an experience of dealing with this problem. Now, if you look at, even though it's a surgery which is almost given up by the society, but if you ask me, in a remote area, rural area, general surgeon who is fairly experienced can carry out this operation very safely, very economically, and it has got a higher success rate as compared to most modern methods, either endoscopic bile duct stone removal and laparoscopic cholecystectomy, or a laparoscopic gallbladder removal, as well as management of a CBD stones by laparoscopy. Now, if you ask me which is a better method out of these three, now obviously if you look at the results, economy and the availability is the open surgery. But today, I mean, people want to have a glamorous procedure. Anything new is always favored by the society. It may have certain advantages, but they are marginal. If you look at the open surgery, you have lowest number of retained stones in the gallbladder. It has lowest number of complications. It requires minimum gadgets, which can be, and that's why it can be a very cost-effective procedure. But if you see the other modalities like ERCP followed by laparoscopic cholecystectomy, this is a two-stage procedure. Patient has to be hospitalized twice. Patient has to have anesthesia twice, and fairly good number of patients. In good number of patients, the doctor may not be able to take out a bile duct stone, especially if the stones are larger than 2 to 3 centimeters. And if the larger stones are attempted by ERCP or endoscopic method, you require high-end gadgets, and treatment can be prohibitively costly. The another method, which is a single-stage procedure, and I practice by purpose of discussing this topic, actually, the laparoscopic cholecystectomy and laparoscopic CBD stone removal can be managed at a time. That has, I think, a lot of advantages to a patient, where first of all, patient will stay in the hospital once only. He will have anesthesia once. He will have medications once. And this procedure does not have any major complication of acute pancreatitis, which is there in ERCP. Only thing is disadvantage, you require a very competent, well-trained surgeon who knows intracorporeal suturing, like suturing laparoscopically. and you require another trained assistant surgeon or at least 2-3 trained people from the operation theater team and 2 camera systems. But they are one time investment, and I think if you are having less number of complication, if it is economical procedure, I would always favor, and I have been practicing this method of laparoscopic bile duct stone removal and cholecystectomy at one go for last 20 years, and I have no regrets about this procedure. I know that it is a difficult procedure. There is a very long learning curve for the surgeons, and it cannot be practiced maybe in a remote area if surgeons have a poor training. Now, yeah, there is a very reason for this laparoscopic duct stone management or a cholecystectomy at one time because of a learning curve, cost of 2 camera systems, and having a trained assistant surgeons. Now there are other methods of dealing with the stones, especially in the bile duct. Now various types of lithotripsy. Now these various types of lithotripsy can be used either in ARCP or during laparoscopic bile duct stone management. You have endoscopic mechanical lithotripsy that involves Darmia basket or a balloon where the stones are manipulated, broken into pieces and removed out. Then another electrohydraulic lithotripsy. These are like all kidney stones or ureteric stone which are dealt by this method. Now I practice mechanical lithotripsy and endoscopic laser lithotripsy. But many times you have a small stones or a gravel sitting in the bile duct. You just open the bile duct just above the duodenum and flush out all the stones and collect and put them in a collecting bag and then retrieve them out. Another very useful modality, luckily it has been available in my present hospital as well as it was available in KM hospital also, laser lithotripsy, which is a very kind procedure. You can deal with all types and all sizes of the stones and take them out without doing any sphincter damage or a bile duct damage. And the last method, again, which is not very commonly practiced, is extracorporeal lithotripsy. Now, extracorporeal lithotripsy many times involves multiple sitting. It's more expensive and success rate is very low. It is something like less than 70%. Now, I think when we are dealing with a gallstone disease, there are particular situations where you have to have some special features to manage this type of patients, and I have listed few of them here. One of them is liver cirrhosis. That is a diseased liver, and when patient has got a gallstones associated with the cirrhotic liver, and because of a bleeding problem, it can be a difficult issue when you are dealing with a laparoscopy or even open surgery also. So one has to be very careful. If you really see a cirrhotic liver with a lot of newly formed blood vessel collaterals around the gallbladder, one can just retract back and stop the procedure because it can be a fatal instantly on table because these patients bleed furiously. Now, second important issue is which affects young population, pregnancy. During pregnancy is a lithogenic tendency. By that mean the gallbladder and bile ducts, they are not emptying 100%. So whenever there is a bile collection, sometimes we tend to get a stone formation either during pregnancy or some people already have a stones before pregnancy, and this can be a great nuisance in the middle of pregnancy. Sometimes they get acute attack of cholecystitis, jaundice because of a stone migration in a bile duct, and then it can be a real difficulty. The family can be in a panic because they don't want to have medication during pregnancy for the fear of abnormalities in a child, and they don't want to have surgery. But many times, in routine practice, we are forced to operate when pregnancy is beyond say 3-4 months, because by that time one can use certain drugs without any fear. Now next situation is acute cholecystitis. Now especially this happens in a patient who are elderly, who are having other diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and this problem requires urgent treatment. Now, urgent treatment sometimes may not be possible because of associated illnesses. Many times these patients, if they are heart patients, they are on blood thinning drugs, antiplatelets, and sometimes surgery has to be delayed. Now, a lot of people practice actually just drain the gallbladder in this situation. By and large, my experience is something different. I always go ahead, have proper planning, treat patient conservatively with antibiotics for a day or two, then take them up for a definitive surgery. And I have no regrets treating this problem at one go. Another problem is acute cholangitis. Now, whenever there are stones in the bile duct or a gallbladder, normally our bile is bacteria free. Now, the stone always allows bacteria to, come there from the gut, from the intestine, from the duodenum in a retrograde manner and cause infection. And this cholangitis, especially in a diabetic patient or elderly patient, can be a very severe, where mortality or treatment also can be a difficult one. But again, there are solutions. We had an age-old method of draining the biliary tree, either by doing a simple cholecystectomy under local anesthesia. And nowadays, with this advanced endoscopy, we can certainly avail a facility of ERC if it is available around, to drain the bile duct first by putting a stent. If possible, one can take out the impacted stone also. Another common complication of gallstones and bile duct stones is acute pancreatitis. It's a life-threatening situation. It can be very mild, moderate, or severe grade. And in severe grade, mortality or morbidity is pretty high. Now here, at times, ERCP comes for the rescue of a patient. And that should be utilized very judiciously, because it can be detrimental or can aggravate the existing pathology. Now, the next problem is the gallstone disease. In earlier years, it was seen very frequently in elderly people. And why this disease is seen more frequently? Because I think partly the medical profession is also responsible, because whatever was learnt about gallstones, if they do not cause any symptoms to a patient, they should be left alone. That was the dictum, and by and large, whenever your doctor is either general practitioner or physician, this advice was passed on to a patient. But I don't believe in this, because very fact you got a gallstones means you got a disease in your gallbladder or a bile duct, and one day it is going to progress. It is never silent. Pathology, only thing it never used to be obvious to us, because we had a very poor imaging available for this problem. So nowadays, see, suppose there is a patient with the gallstones, and if I don't tell the consequence or a complication of that presence of a gallstone in a young lady or gentleman at the age of say 25, he has a long life ahead, and I am sure he is going to land up one of the major complications because of a gallstone. And these major complications are: one is acute gallbladder pus formation in a gallbladder. Second problem is acute pancreatitis. Third problem is a jaundice because of a blockage. And fourth problem, if somebody harbors stones for a long time, there is a fear of a gallbladder cancer. If you look at northern part of our country, that is a gallbladder cancer belt and gallstone disease belt. And I think we are one of the leader actually to teach rest of the world about gallstone and gallbladder cancer disease. Now, other few problems, diabetes and gallstone, very important issue. Diabetes is a very common entity in our society. Every fourth person has some grade of diabetes nowadays. And gallstones and diabetes, somehow they do not go well. Especially what happens, a patient who has a diabetes for many years, they always have neuropathy, and a lot of symptoms are masked because of a presence of a long-standing diabetes. It is like a fire under ash. So my advice to my patient, if you are a diabetic and you have gallstone, please get your gallbladder stones removed along with the gallbladders, so that you will not end up with a major complications in the future. Now, last two issues is immunosuppression. Immunosuppression is, see, there are a lot of diseases today where patients take drugs which reduce their body resistance, like illnesses like collagen vasculitis, rheumatoid arthritis, then SLE, then nowadays again a very major issue which is coming up in the society is immunosuppression for organ transplantation, because I think we are one country where I think organ transplantation is literally moving at a very fast speed. A lot of patients on immunosuppressive drugs. Now, whenever there are gallstones, I think these patients should get their gallbladder out. Again, they also end up with a something called as fire under ash. Now, in conclusion, I just want to summarize few things about this biliary stone management. In spite of various new techniques available, I still consider the open cholecystectomy or open CBD stone management has not gone away, because there are certain some subset of patients who might need that procedure. Nowadays, my problem, what I see in the society, the training of a surgeon, you will not have a surgeon to do open operation, because everybody wants to do a glamorous procedure. Every patient wants to have a glamorous operation of a minimal invasive surgery or endoscopy. And there, suppose somebody needs an open surgery because very big stone, difficult gallbladder, or gallbladder in a portal hypertension, I don't think they are manageable many times by a minimal invasive approach. And I think if surgeon is not an experienced one in doing routinely this operation by open method, they will certainly find a difficulty when they are forced to do it during a situation if things are impossible by laparoscopy. Now, since I earlier mentioned that my preference of dealing with these biliary stones and bile duct stones is by laparoscopic cholecystectomy along with laparoscopic CBD stone removal, I know that it is a technically demanding procedure. It requires trained manpower to a camera system. But if one has a determination, you can always achieve. Nowadays, of late, what I have started doing laparoscopic cholecystectomy with ERCP in the operation theater under same anesthesia, and I think patient can achieve a result like what has been achieved by LapCol along with the CBD stone laparoscopically. Yeah, I think I have tried to discuss about a management of a gallstone and bile duct stones in a short span. If I will be happy to answer some queries and questions if they are there. Thank you.
Dr. Sayan.
Okay. Who is this? Dr. Annie. Sir, if patient post-collision surgery. Yeah, in post-cholecystectomy situation, who is the Dr. Annie, if patient feels pain post-operatively after gallbladder removal, the most common cause is, missed stones in the bile duct or sometimes stone which is impacted in a cystic duct, and if that is not addressed during cholecystectomy, these people will feel pain. Another common cause of pain is basically a collection. Sometimes there can be a small hematoma in gallbladder fossa, or there can be a small bile leak maybe from the gallbladder bed on the liver side, or small bile duct injury. They need to be evaluated and managed accordingly. बस बाकी है क्या गए? Sorry. एक ही क्वेश्चन है. Yeah. That's all. बाकी कौन है?
We'll be answering further.
Okay. Okay. So how long we took?
Oh, can we finish?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you.